everyone, and welcome to the Snow Horse Marketing Podcast. We are so excited today to have Lindsey with us. Lindsey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course, we haven't done a PR podcast in a long time, so folks, just hang on to this. So Lindsey is a marketing and PR communications specialist, and she has over a decade of experience, definitely knows her stuff, and she's specialized in the tech, health and beauty industry and the publishing industries, which is really taken off right now. So that is so cool to see.
Yeah.
Well, today we wanted to talk a little bit about branding and PR. And I know you have a lot of experience in the personal branding side, and I just have a lot of experience in the business branding side. So I'm really excited for this conversation. I think there's a lot we'll be able to pull out of it.
Yeah, same. I think it's going to be good. So where do we start? Like there's so many different angles or so many different areas where we could start this conversation.
Oh, certainly. I think a good place to start is what does PR do? So many people hear PR and some of them might think SEO, some of them may think social proofing, but PR is so much more than that. Like if someone comes to you and asks you, why should I do PR? What would your answer be?
Ooh, that's such a good question. And I think that I think the answer is twofold, or threefold. One, visibility, and then two, credibility. And then three, like SEO, the things that you said. But I would say, the two important ones are visibility and credibility. You want to get in front of the people that you're targeting, right? Just like in marketing, but also that visibility helps bolster your brand, whether that's your business brand, your product, your personal brand.
Oh, certainly. I think a great example of this. So when Elon Musk started SpaceX, he had a hard time finding good people to work there, good information coming out. And everyone says he doesn't do marketing, but he does. He does PR, very targeted, fine-tuned PR marketing. That's what he does. And so he did spots on like Big Bang Theory. He did publications. He did interviews. There are things that he did that got the attention needed for him to get the result he wanted. And I feel like even though Elon Musk doesn't do traditional marketing typically with his businesses, he does do PR, because even if you have a product or service that sells itself, that there's a great need for, people need to hear about it.
Exactly. And I think what made Elon so successful in doing PR and not necessarily traditional marketing, is that he was ready for the influx of attention. He had his house in order, basically, with all of his companies. He was ready to receive the attention and then also to like maximize it, capitalize it, and get more attention throughout, just through more PR engagement.
Yeah, I have a colleague of mine. He often gives the examples of building businesses as building a foundation. So many years ago, he was working across the street from a new Starbucks that was being built. And he remembered watching the construction crews, people come on, they were digging a hole, and it took like 6 months for them to dig this hole, get a foundation built. And he's like, why is it taking so long? But as soon as the foundation was built, the building went up in like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And he went and talked to them. It's like, why does it take so long? It's like, because we need a good foundation. We can build the structure on top of it. And I feel like when you watch businesses that have been really successful, they did that. They took the time to build the foundation. I know with Snow Horse Marketing, sometimes we work with those smaller businesses that are still building that foundation, and their purpose of their marketing is very different than the purpose of the marketing for an established business down the road. They want data. They want to know who their customer is. They need to know personas, things like that, so that when they do go spend the 100K, 200K on a PR campaign, they're making sure that that thing is going to the right place. And I found that to be very important, to use the data to build that foundation before you're investing that money into the PR side.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that there are so many companies out there or solopreneurs out there that don't understand that concept, that the foundation needs to be built before PR can be effective. I mean, not just from a logistical standpoint, like we were talking about Elon, he was ready, right? He was ready for all of the attention, not just from the logistical standpoint, but also from the storytelling aspect. if you don't have the foundation of your business, what your service is, your persona, all of those things, it's a lot harder for your PR agent to be able to tell a story that's going to matter to the rest of the world. That sounds really harsh saying that, but it's true. I think a lot of just clients in general don't understand that. And this is a very like simplified explanation, but I think the difference between marketing and PR is marketing, it's kind of like just the ongoing, running digital ads, making sure your website is working. Whereas with PR, you're engaging with a story, you're engaging with a narrative, right? And so you've got to have something meaningful to say or to contribute to the story. And if that solid foundation isn't there, if that new idea or new comment or what have you isn't there, it's not going to take off the way that they want,
Oh,
Yeah.
completely agreed. And storytelling, I mean, anyone who's paid attention to the marketing world, especially since COVID, knows. Like, I love, oh, what's his name? The Shark Tank guy, Kevin. Um, I forget his name. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, but I know who you're talking about.
bald,
Kevin, that guy. Yes.
right. He's great. I love his stuff, and I love how he's been very outspoken about this. He's like, I never thought I'd spend this much money for storytelling as we have during the pandemic, and since then, storytelling is so important for a business, and that's where doing the digital marketing and the work is important. I know when we meet with our clients, so every month we do a strategy session with our clients. It's required of everyone. And we break down the ads that work, what messaging works. And it's so important to fine tune what that is. And then we have clients who come in who've done that work and we're just putting gravy on it, right? We're just putting it out there. And it is amazing. Their performance is often like 3 to 10 times what we see of other clients because they know their story, they know their brand, they know their messaging, they have that clarity. And I feel like clarity and intent is so important for any business. It's not just having a problem to solve, it's not just having a product. You must have clarity and intent and a story, a reason why people care. I know there was a business that, I mean, just thinking Shark Tank businesses right now, it was like a cutting board solve, right? Any other business could have copied it. It wasn't patented. Any other business could have created this, but it was a story of these kids who took over a business after their parents died, right? And the youngest, yeah, and the oldest daughter was in charge. She was like 20 or something. And they still sell them. And these cutting boards are $100 cutting boards, okay? Like, but what their people are buying and investing is supporting these children and supporting these children who took on their family business at such a young age. And so it's important to remember that it's not always what you're selling or solving the biggest problem. It's your why, as Simon Sinek says, right? What's your why?
Yes, exactly. I can't tell you how many clients that I've worked with, mostly in the publishing industry, but so these authors that I'm working with, they come to me and they say, okay, yeah, I want PR. I gotta be everywhere, right? I gotta be everywhere. But why? But what is the thing? What is your why? What's driving you? Why are people gonna care? And also to pivot off that just a little bit, not just your why, but also your who. Like, so many authors say that my book is for everyone. Everyone should read my book. And I feel like that's the same thing with a lot of companies, like our product or service is for everyone. But the truth of the matter is, if you're for everyone, you're for no one. Like, you're not going to be able to have that story or that you're not going to be able to make a deep connection with people. And that's what gets people to move, is that connection.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. I know when Snowhorse started, our focus was women-owned businesses and nonprofits, which is a huge net. It's something like 60% of businesses are women-owned businesses, like huge net. But it's when we actually looked, we're testing out like what clients do we prefer working with, and we're like, we really like companies that are doing good in the world, companies in sustainability, farm to table, like those types of businesses. that then we started attracting and getting more inbound. And we knew that is the process of every business. You go through, like, we even do, once we discovered what our ICP was, we even did a rebrand, right? And that's why the foundation is so important, because what you feel may be a good fit, you want to cast that wide net in the beginning. But as an author, you should know what your target is. If you're writing a book, like a romance book, you should know what those audiences are. If you're writing a nonfiction book, an autobiography about yourself, right?
Yeah.
Well, then it's probably people who've been through similar experiences to you who would be your audience. And some of it is just deduction, and some of it is experimentation, right? There may be another market. I know when we do our analysis every month for our clients, and we're talking about cross-platform, I'm sure you've experienced this as well. When you do PR in different areas, or you do paid digital marketing on LinkedIn and Pinterest and Facebook, the more cross-marketing you have, the more different places your people see you, the more credible you become. And it also means the more sales and revenue that you get. It's that credibility piece. And so the cross-marketing really does make a huge difference. But deciding where to cross-market, like our clothing companies and people who are selling products, we want them on Pinterest. We don't necessarily want them on LinkedIn, right? We want them on Pinterest, right?
Yeah.
And so it's important to know those audiences and personas for sure.
Yeah, and something that you said that I really appreciated in your experience with Snow Horse was being able to pivot and doing a rebrand when you saw where you were getting traction. And I think that that is so important to continually be analyzing, okay, where are we finding success? Because a lot of the times for clients, they might think we know our product or services for this, this audience, but then as we're actually, doing the marketing and PR work, we actually find a lot of success with a different audience. And so I think having a level of flexibility and open-mindedness of where your product and service is going to land is super important to just remind clients, like, hey, it could be something totally different. And you know what? That's okay. We're going to go where we need to go.
Mm-hmm. No, I know so many people, they've siloed themselves into, I want to be in Target or whatever it may be. And you're like, it costs a lot of money to be in Target. You may not want to be in Target until you're at a certain level. You don't want to be there. I mean, I love the analogy some coaches give about when you're trying to figure out what to hunt, right, as a business. Like, you don't want to spend time hunting the squirrel. It's a lot of time, energy, and effort for very little meat, right? And you need to take it back to your cave and feed your family. And then say you conquer a huge woolly mammoth, right? You take it down, you get the huge deal, you get the Target deal, right? Whatever it may be. How are you going to get back to your cave?
Yes.
How much of that meat is going to go rotten because your family can't eat it, right? Right? But what you want to go for is the elk, right? It's nice. You can get it back. It's enough food for your family, right? That's perfect. So I feel like that's a really important thing for people to realize, again, with the foundation, like, how big are you? And of course, once you have a huge tribe, go take down the woolly mammoth. Go do it, right? You got the team to do it. That it makes sense. But having that self-awareness and that willingness to step back and be like, hey, I'm wanting to do good with my message, or I'm wanting to do good with my service or product. This is where I can do good. It's the old adage, don't go where you're tolerated, go where you're celebrated. Go find those markets where you are celebrated.
Yeah, I love that analogy of, if you get the woolly mammoth, what are you going to do with it? Everyone wants the woolly mammoth, but it's not always going to serve you. I've never heard that analogy before, but I'm going to start using it. It's perfect.
It's a good one. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about your experience when I'm working with clients. They see, marketing and PR as one. I'm curious, do you experience the same thing? How do you talk to them about the difference and when to pull the lever on which one?
That is a great question. I feel like many people don't understand marketing. I often use the analogy, saying I'm a marketer is like saying I'm a scientist. It means I could be a botanist or an engineer. Like, it means a lot of things, right? And so it's really important for individuals to realize how diverse marketing is. It's like about 10 years ago, tons of companies started outsourcing their HR to another company because HR encompasses so many things.
Mhm.
We've gotten to this place with marketing where it's the same. Marketing is no longer billboards, print, you know, bus benches. Like that's not what marketing is anymore. And then some TV. Traditional marketing is still valuable and effective in certain markets, in certain industries, you know, depending what you're doing. But it is a huge scope of what is happening. And so PR is obviously under the umbrella of marketing. It's getting the word out there. It's storytelling. It's all the things that marker it to be marketing. But what a lot of people don't understand is where each place goes. Now it's like a symphony. Marketing used to be like a four-string quartet, right? Now it's a symphony of things. And you want to have a conductor. You want to have someone. It's why I always encourage anyone hiring like a CMO, you want to hire the generalist. You don't want to hire the brander to be your CMO because they don't know the whole other side of marketing. What we often do with our clients, to your question about when is PR a good fit, we do digital marketing for all of our clients. It's kind of the backbone of the services that we do for our clients. And what we do is we want to analyze the seasonality of it. We want to take that data to say, hey, this is when your peak season is, or hey, this is when your low season is, so we want more traffic. The purpose of effective PR is to get more traffic, more attention on what's going on. So we want to identify the times where leveraging that would be good. I know some companies who they don't want to do PR during peak times because they could not handle the amount of traffic they would get, but they love doing it during their off season because it doubles their productivity during their off season. So every business is a little different. And it's important to analyze when getting that extra traffic and attention would be a best use of dollars and time. And it is an investment. And so they typically need to be at a place where they can receive the traffic. They got to have enough budgets that they can do the retargeting from the website. Okay, great. You go do an awesome PR campaign, you drop 200K, you get hundreds of thousands of traffic to your website, 10% of them purchase, and then nothing, right? You just wasted a bunch of money. If you're not emailing and retargeting them back in, if you're not doing retargeting ads, some cross-marketing, whatever that may look like for that audience that you're targeting and your service and product that you're selling, then you just flushed a lot of money down the toilet. You just did. So it's a lot of those things, making sure the foundation is in place that you can manage the traffic. I mean, Taylor Swift just recently released some Christmas. I'm sure you've heard about this.
Yes, I have. She is all over the news these days.
She is. So her Christmas items just came out and it crashed her website. Like they weren't able to handle the traffic. Now, obviously that's a domain issue and they need to create switching domains or, something on that end. But that's a great example. They weren't ready for the influx that they were going to get, right? Even a big place like that, a big organization like Taylor Swift's. So it's important to be ready for the traffic. And there's a lot of markers that we look for a company to be ready.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know if you noticed the whole time you were talking, I was just grinning from ear to ear because everything that you were saying was just music to my ears. Like we talked about it a little bit earlier, how marketing is it's the train that keeps going, right? And you're always putting there's output, but there's also input that you're constantly analyzing and engaging and being strategic about when to pull the PR lever, when it's going to work for you, when your company needs it, when your company can handle it. There are so many different things at play. And oftentimes I'll get clients that come to me and they think, oh, I just need PR. I just need, to go viral once and I'm good. And that's just not how it works. It can work, sure, you can have a hit that goes viral, but what is that going to do for you? That's the equivalent of you've just taken down the woolly mammoth and you don't have the resources to handle it. And so I love it when clients come prepared with both marketing and PR because really they've got to work together to be the most effective for clients.
Oh, certainly. It's a really important balance to have. And I've seen so many businesses make that mistake and it puts them under or takes them back a couple of years. It just does.
Yeah.
I've also realized, like, I used to be VP of marketing of another company, and I was able to launch some of their first PR campaigns outside of, just publications in local newspapers. And it was so fun to see that we used Pure Wow, which highly recommend Pure Wow if you're selling a consumer product. Pure Wow did a great job. We got some great pricing to test it out. They let us do a good test, and it was phenomenal. It more than 500% increased the sales during off season for that company. But before that, I had spent an entire year identifying the markets we were in, ensuring we had retargeting, our Google AdWords, our search words, everything in our top markets was in place. And what this did is it just, put gasoline on the fire. And what we were able to do is identify more markets. And I'm sure you know this in PR, there's A, B, C cities. So when you do PR, that becomes super evident. Anyone who's watched movies knows, like, certain movies are released in certain cities before other cities, right? Because of the markets. Like, there's just these different influential markets. And it is so fun to do marketing. I mean, I'm a nerd and I love the data. And so anytime I get to do a PR campaign, I'm always like, ooh, I want to see the ABC city, like, waterfall. Like, I love that stuff. It's so fun. But it was very cool to see it for this company. Because it was my first time doing it, and all I'd done is study it in college. So this was my first experience seeing it in real live time. But we saw that happen, that waterfall, and it happened, and it was great because it was like 2 months of this wave. And I also encourage, like, one thing that I did with that experience is we made sure we leveraged the PR, so it went over 2 months. A lot of people, they want to do the email, they want to do the posting, they want to do the follow-up all, like, within a week. And it's like, no. You want to give time for it to go through the whole market 3 times. So you want to time those differently. And you always want to make sure whatever the first touch is, it's introducing someone to you. What the second touch is a call to action of some sort. And what the third touch is a value prop or a reminder of some sort. And when you set it up that way, at least in my experience, and you pace it out, that 200K that you're dropping, or whatever it may be, that 50K that you're testing with, you'll get your biggest bang for your buck that way. And then you're not going to overwhelm your retargeting budgets. You're not going to overwhelm all those things. So that is also important when you're strategizing out the PR campaign as well.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad that you touched on timing, because, like we've talked about, PR, you've got to be really strategic on when you're pulling that lever and why, right? A lot of my clients, in my experience, they're like, I want you to send out 1 million pitches in the next week or 2. And it's like, wait. We gotta take a look at your house. Are you ready? Do you have all the things in place? What does your email campaign look like? What are you doing with your audience? The story that you're telling in January is different than the story that you're going to tell in March or June or September, right? So I really appreciated that you mentioned that timing, that we've got to be strategic on when we're doing what, so that the client gets the biggest bang for their buck. That is so important.
I love what Gary Vee harps on. Patience is key. And it is. For things like this, patience is key. If you just want to get a Facebook campaign out there, okay, go do that today. If you want to create a campaign that's going to be effective, you want to take a month to strategize. And that's okay. If you take the step back, it allows you to leverage what you're doing instead of, so many businesses fail. It's only 50% of businesses make it past 5 years. And I'm going to say this, only 2% of those businesses can grow without the founder involved. Only 2%. You want your business at a place, only 2% of businesses can really do PR and it work. That's what that says to me in the first 5 years.
Yep. And the thing about PR, also to quote Gary Vee, context is king. You can't just be plastering messages here. You've got to have the context around it. You've got to wait until the narrative is there, the story is being told, for your story to be able to shine, because the rest of the context is there.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we are out of time, but Lindsey, this is such a fun conversation. We should definitely do another one.
Definitely.
But if anyone's interested in learning more about your PR, what would be the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, right now you can find me on LinkedIn. I'd say that's probably the best place to find me is LinkedIn. Lindsey
Awesome.
Kim Dunn.
Love it. Love it. So definitely check her out on LinkedIn, Lindsey Kim Dunn. She is fantastic, phenomenal, brilliant person that we are glad to be speaking with today. Well, if you're listening here today, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next time.